Next week, I'm heading out of town on a 10-hour road trip to West Texas, and there's nothing more comfortable for a long ride than a knit skirt. So now seems like the perfect time to see if I can make this skirt in an hour or less. So keep watching. Hi, I'm Tony, and this is Sew Sew Lounge. Now, the last time I made this skirt was back in July of 2022, and it was part of a month-long sewing challenge to make a bunch of garments before my trip to New York in August. And I didn't specifically film this skirt, it was just one of those things I was doing during that time period. And I remember that I sewed it surprisingly fast. Like, I remember being finished and thinking, wow, that's probably the fastest garment of all the ones I've sewn this month. So I decided to try it again. And this time I'm using some of this beautiful knit fabric that I got in New York on my trip there last month because I thought it would just be really fun and very, very comfortable. And then I can just match it with any colored tank top I have. And this pattern is Simplicity 1616. It's been around for a while. It's still in print. I double checked to make sure. So if you're interested in sewing the skirt, head over to simplicity.com, wait for a sale, and then buy it at a discounted price. Now I'm going to be making view A, which is the same version that I previously made because I like a long skirt. You can kind of pull it up around you and cross your legs in the seat when you're not driving. And I have it all cut out. Now, this is a super simple pattern. It's basically a front, a back, and then the waistband. Now, one thing I did differently, because I was trying to match the stripes on the sides of the skirt all the way around, which we'll see how successful that was, I had to adjust the fabric so that I could match the stripes with the notches. And that meant that this really big piece wasn't going to fit. So what I did instead is I folded it in half, and then I added a 5/8 inch seam allowance on it because this is how the band will be attached to the top of the skirt, and then it kind of just scrunches down like that. So I knew it would work if I just added a seam on the top. That would normally be a fold if you have enough fabric or if you're using a solid colored fabric, and it should make it easy. So I do have an extra step in here that I do have to sew the seam in this piece together first on both of these pieces, and then unfold it and start constructing the waistband. Other than that, I think this is going to be a pretty quick project, and to help speed things along a little bit, because I do have another dress I want to sew before we leave next week. I'm going to do it on my serger. And the first time I sewed it on my machine, it's held up, it's done well, it's been laundered multiple times. It's like my favorite travel skirt. And I thought, let's just do it on the serger this time and see how long that'll take. Okay, got the timer, got my 15-minute increments started, and we're in the first quarter. I am starting with this band because I want to put it together so that it's pretty much the same as the directions once I start looking at them. Of the variations of this skirt, this is definitely the easiest one because it doesn't require any gathering and it does not have an uneven hem. So my serger is all set up and ready to go. I did switch out the needles for stretch needles. Smets does make those for sergers, so if your serger requires like specific serger needles, you can get those. If not, if you're lucky and your machine takes regular sewing machine needles, then you have a lot more options than I do. I do have the edge of my fabric lined up with the L. That means that's 5/8 to that point. Okay, so that's done. So this is how it's supposed to look once it's, when it was cut originally, it should have just looked like this, but because of my technical challenge of matching stripes, it did not happen that way. So those two pieces are done, and actually I cut them out pretty well so that they actually look like they match up pretty evenly. So let me just look at the instructions real quick and see how I put this together. I think I sewed the sides together. Yeah, so I just basically sew this together on the sides. Yes, and then we have the top and the bottom. You know what? I'm doing this wrong. We want to pin the side because this has the top and this has this. I cut this out differently, so I have totally messed this up. We'll find out. Oh yeah, I totally screwed this up because I was thinking it was going to be cut differently. So if we sew the sides together, there's going to be a seam down the middle. Look at my pattern piece. Okay, so my pattern piece is like this. Oh no. Yeah, it said center front and center back. I should have folded it like this and added a seam allowance. That's what I should have done. And then it would have been here on this fold instead of the center fold. So now I got to decide if I want to redo this. That I really don't think I have enough fabric to cut. I should have bought 3 yards. Once again, I should have bought 3 yards and not bought what the pattern said and just done what I always do. All right, let me figure this out. We've got 5 minutes left of the first quarter, if you're wondering. Okay, I did find some scraps. Hindsight, should have folded it this way. Match these 2 sides up. And then added the seam allowance to this side. This is what happens. And the funny thing is, I spent like almost an hour and a half trying to match these stripes and make this all work before I came up with this idea of, this is the skirt front, so let's put that over there so it doesn't get cut accidentally. Before I came up with this idea, which I thought would work, because in my head it worked, and when I folded the paper it worked. So now I'm gonna have to cut this on the cross grain because I don't think I have enough width. Who knew this video was gonna be so exciting? I thought I was just gonna sit down and sew. I guess that's what happens when I haven't been sewing for a little while. Okay, so the good news is that this fabric was really printed on grain. So I'm just gonna match up the pattern and we're gonna hope for the best. It's knit, so it's gonna be a lot more forgiving than a woven fabric would be to get back on grain. So this is gonna be a different look because now the stripes will be going straight up on the band and they're gonna be going horizontal on the skirt. But you know what? I think that's okay. Just gonna pin this here in the middle. I'm just gonna line this up and cut very carefully, because this really is the last of the fabric. All right, so the first one's done. Let me just pin these 2 together so that I don't get confused. But on the plus side, I think these stripes are gonna match up again, so that's kind of a good thing. Okay, so that's one piece. We will repeat that process. Back at the serger, everything's lined up again. I'm kind of sitting funny because Honey's under here and will not move, so. Oh, wait, I didn't start the timer. Let me do that. Okay, now we're starting. Second quarter of the hour. Now we're back where we were supposed to be from the beginning. It looks okay. It's not exactly perfect, but it's very close, so that's good. We'll see which one looks better, and that's gonna be, this one looks better. This is gonna be the outside of the skirt. Okay. So let me put these 2 together. So I'm going to pin one side first and then I'll pin the other side. Wasn't super happy about going over those serged edges, but it didn't mess up. So that's the good news. We don't need any mess ups at this point in time. I don't think I put any clips on this side. So we're just going to go with matching up that center seam. So the band is ready to be folded down. I think that's gonna look good. Yeah, okay. 7 minutes left. Let's put the rest of the skirt together. Let's see how well my stripe matching worked out. If I need to scoot it over a little bit to make it happen. Okay, so this side looks good. I think this was the side that was the side I could see, and the underside, which should have been able to be matched up, may have gotten a little bit off. So I'm just going to go through and pin these along their stripes to kind of keep them lined up as best as possible. And then I'm going to go to the other side, and we may have to wiggle it around, wiggle that fabric around a little bit to make it match up exactly right. Okay, I think I'm going to sew this side first. I think that's what we're going to do. We got 4 minutes left. I think I'm going to put this side seam in. Okay, 2 minutes left. Let's take a sneak peek to see how the stripes match up. Oh, that looks pretty cool. I did a pretty good job matching them. On this side, anyway, that looks really cool. Let's do the other side. 2 minutes left, and then we'll be at the 30-minute mark. So far so good. I think that the fabric might have slipped a little bit or not been quite as flat on the other side because the notch is like in the right place over here, but I've got extra fabric from the original waistband. So now I have to decide, is it more important to have the stripes match, or is it more important to follow the pattern? And I think we know what my choice is going to be, and that is to have the stripes match up so that it looks nice. It's all doing what it's supposed to be doing, because I really think that I could just cut that off and not worry about it and then even out the hem. You know, and I'm probably not even gonna cut the bottom because I think that once I get everything lined up, it's gonna be almost even. And I can deal with that once I'm at this hemming stage, that if it needs to be trimmed out, it can be. Okay, we're at 12 minutes, doing fine. Still have plenty of time to get this done within the 1 hour time limit, so I'm not gonna stress. The skirt band goes up outside with the right sides together, so I think we just sew it on like this. We're gonna match them so that the insides are all touching. So now because I have that seam there, I can actually match, we're gonna match the side seams as well. 3 minutes left, skirt is pinned. I got multiple layers, so I'm trying to get this done. Oh no, just under 3 minutes. Okay, let's see if we can make this happen. Oops, I've gotta put that down, there we go. 44 seconds to spare. I have finished putting the waistband on. Let's see how it looks. That means we have a full 15 minutes to do the hem, which I think we're gonna need after all this wasted time doing other stuff. That looks really good. All right. That's 45 minutes. Still got time. 15 minutes left to go, and I'm just going to even out this very bottom of the hem. One side's a little bit longer, and so I just use this curve to kind of just get it even on both sides, and I drew a line to just kind of even it out. It's a very, very minimal amount that I'm cutting off just to kind of get it to work. And it's gonna be at the very bottom by my ankles, so I'm pretty sure nobody except us is gonna even know that this happened. So I'm going to do a rolled hem on my serger. I have my machine set up. I think that's gonna look good, but then if it doesn't, I can always go back and do something different. All right, so my machine is all set up. I'm just gonna do rolled hem. And like I said, if I don't like it, I can always change it later, but I did test it out and I think it looks nice. Oh wait, let me put the timer back on. I'm confident we will be finished in 15 minutes because this is not gonna take super long. There we go. And we're done with 12 minutes to spare. So it's all done. I think the hem looks nice. I think it's perfectly acceptable for this type of skirt. I'll see how it is once I wear it. My other hem is like a double turn under, so it has a little bit more weight than this is, but this is a lighter weight fabric than the other skirt. So I'm gonna pop this on and stand next to the mirror so you can see how good those side seams look. This is the finished skirt. I am very happy with the way it turned out and even more excited that I got it done in an hour. Now, if you look at the side seam, you can see it was worth the effort, the hour and a half I spent matching this fabric. Even though it took less time to sew, this side looks equally good, and that makes me happy because, you know, if you just glance at it, you never know. So the seam that I sewed in to patch this band ended up down here on the bottom, which is really great because it's not adding any extra bulk here at my waist. And this is where I'm wearing the skirt. It is a little bit looser than the other version. This is a size 14. Lately in knits, I've been making a size 12 to account for the stretch. When I made the first version of the skirt, I wasn't doing that. And also the 14 is the smallest size on the pattern paper. So that's kind of what I was stuck with, and I just went with it. I can always take it in a little bit more, but I like the way it's fitting now. It's super comfortable. It's going to be great for travel, just like its predecessor. And if you want to sew this skirt, I highly recommend it. If you don't make any of the mistakes like I did, you can probably get it done in 45 minutes, maybe less. It's super easy, especially if you use your serger. And I think you're gonna feel super accomplished that you can get a skirt sewn in an afternoon, because that's how I'm feeling right now. Like, I haven't sewn a lot since my Easter dress, and now I made a skirt today. So I'm feeling pumped. I'm ready to start another sewing project. And if you're excited and you want to check out another sewing challenge, you totally want to check out this one coming up next. I know you're going to love it, and I'll see you over there.